So I've beaten, for all intents and purposes, Pokemon Arceus. I'm probably going to do some type of afterthoughts episode after I finish the following point. In the first, I'm going to make 3 episodes. I'm going to make a episode like this one, which will be spoiler free, so don't worry about spoilers. And I'll make a second one which is spoiler heavy, and the third will come out when I finally finish the fucking game. So here I'm going to talk about broad strokes of the game, systems I like, mechanics. I'm not going to talk anything about the story. I'm going to try and keep talking about the world to a minimum. I might talk about Pokemon, features, things of that nature, and so on and so forth. So, first thing you guys want to know, is it good? Yes. It is one of the best Pokemon games I feel like I've ever played. I'm not saying it is the best Pokemon game of all time. We all have our favorites, our nostalgic, our safe space. But I view this game more as like a Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, or a Pokemon Coliseum. It's much more adventure heavy, story driven, heavy on that element. But the catching and the mechanics still feel good. It's hard as shit. By the end of the game, I was 10 levels underneath where the final boss was. And I was wholly unprepared, and I sort of had to go farm items and just item spam, doing you got to do some level of grinding if you want to be overpowered in this game, because the final levels of things are in the almost approaching the mid to high 80s, almost 90s towards the end. So Pokemon, these things are Pokemon are hard. It's not easy. Second, this game is not heavy on battling at all. The battle system is actually fairly unique and different compared to what you normally. The one thing that you're kind of caught off balance with is it's always set rotation, meaning you don't switch Pokemon between deaths. On top, but not more than that, whoever they send in can attack you regardless. So you need to learn to be okay with finishing out battles with hanging on by a thread with one Pokemon left, because they've added a priority system, a proper priority system, where you can press the Y button in the battle and off to the side slides the turns and stuff. Well, how does that affect it? Well, each move has their own priority weight, as it were. Things like close, heavy hitting moves like close combat, like Roar of Time with Dialga's Roar of Time, Kick and Impact. All these things have weight and priority, meaning less time between you can act again. And when I say less time between you can act, I'm talking anything. Switching Pokemon, using items, attacking anything. I've gotten hit by an enemy 4 times in a row before I'm even able to do anything. And usually if you're getting hit, and usually if the AI is the AI is actually really smart here. It's not all dumb stupid, especially in the late game. The other way this priority queue is changed is with the new addition of the agile and strong styles, which are basically moves level up as well, and when they reach their max, you get the ability to use agile and strong styles, which basically use 2 power points on a move. And by the way, all the moves have had their PowerPoint usage cut in half. Extra Sensory, which was a 25 PowerPoint move in normal Pokemon games, it's at 15. Hydro Pump, which is normally a 10, is at 5. So they took a fucking cut out of it. Air Slash, which is normally 20, is 10. So you don't have a whole bunch. You have to be a little more strategic. And then these moves, basically, if you use the Agile style, your power is cut. But you're then your priority in the queue is put up. So like if you were to just use a move normally, or if you use an agile move, sometimes you can go twice in a row just by using agile first. So one of the things you would do is use agile, and then you'd use strong style, which increases your damage, but makes your queue priority a lot lower. And when I say queue, I'm I'm just saying it because it's a word. It's not an actual thing. It's just literally just who gets to go first and who gets to go in what order and how many times. That's all it is. I'm just using it as a shorthand. Don't feel intimidated by it. And this system makes you actually feel like, I have to plan which Pokemon I'm going to throw out first, because sometimes, depending on how the battle you're going into, that might be a sacrificial lamb. And when you say pick Pokemon, here's what I mean. So when you are doing the gameplay normally, which I'll get to, you are cycling through 2 different bars. One is your items that you can throw in the world in general to interact with it. I'll get to that. In the back is your actual Pokemon, which you can throw onto things to harvest materials for the crafting system. I'll get to that. And throwing them at Pokemon to initiate battles. Now, whatever Pokemon you throw, that's the Pokemon that gets thrown into battle. But if you go into actual battles with trainers proper, which there aren't a whole ton, a lot of them are scripted, and if you want to battle, there's actually a couple NPCs you can go to get some battles going, get some EXP, all that good stuff. Whatever Pokemon you have selected in that bar, that's your party leader. Order on the actual party menu actually doesn't matter. And so what you end up happening is that you have to constantly juggle I need this Pokemon to throw this Pokemon out because I want to get some XP, but then I gotta switch back to this one because I see a Pokemon over there, I want to catch it for battle, and this type is bad, so I gotta switch to this one. It's a lot. It's a lot less brain dead, and it's a lot more active, which is, for me personally, I really like, but I understand that's not going to be for everybody. But I encourage y'all to try it nonetheless. So that's kind of how the battles work. They're hard. They've got this priority thing. Couple other little things about battles. They removed a lot of secondary. They've trimmed a lot of fat for the game because they wanted to focus on the catching and the exploration and less on the battling, which I'm not 100% thrilled with, but I understand it, and the product we got is still very good, so I'm forgiving. Here's a couple of things they've cut from the battling. Moves like Water Pulse, things of that nature. They've removed status effects like Attraction, Confusion, things of that. Those are gone. And replacing them are the traditional status effects, which are no longer permanent. Neither are stat boosts. Speaking of stat boosts boost offensive and defensive stats. So something like Calm Mind will boost your offense and defensive stats, not your special or offense. So basically what it does is for mons like, say, Infernape, which is primarily a physical attacker. One of the issues you might have with Infernape is that he doesn't have access to Sword Dance, but he does have access to Nasty Plot. Well, Nasty Plot now boosts both his physical and special attacks as well, so that's very, very good. They've also gotten rid of a lot of the one-stage boosts as well. It's all the two-stage ones, like Growl is gone, Howl is gone, all of those things. Those aren't there anymore. Sleep causes drowsiness, paralysis, poison, all of these things, freezing, are a little bit different, and I believe all of them are temporary. Burning still does what it does, I believe. So does poison. Paralysis is the same way, and freezing, instead of freezing the Pokemon wholesale, it actually deals it actually does both a small damage over time and a small chance of freezing, so it does a little bit of both. And all of these are temporary, which, you know, it took some getting used to, kind of like, oh, I got to do this because I'm going after this move, it has this move, and it could do that. There's a lot of things you just aren't worrying about, which is really, really nice, I have to be frank. So that's kind of it on the battle. It's hard. It's actually kind of hard. Even and for those people who are more difficulty minded, they have added the ability to turn autosave on and off, which I'm sure y'all love. I don't know if I didn't check to see if they had the option to turn off experience. Let me actually check that real quick. Okay, so I just double checked, and no, they did not add that, which is unfortunate. But at least autosave is optional again, which I know drove a lot of people mad with Sword and Shield. But those are some, longtime fanboy, never happy type of people gripes, which I am one. But that is that. World. Characters are interesting. You get to kind of like, you know, those little moments in Pokemon games, like where you get to see like the Pokemon's like animated and interacting and like little things that like are almost inconsequential. For those who like that seem to add like a little bit of life to the world rather than a bunch of NPCs standing in one area. All the requests are kind of all like that to different degrees of severity. Some of them are literally just bring this, and then you get to see some interactions with players. I remember there was one particular request where I had to bring 3 of a certain Pokemon over, and you got to kind of like see like these people like gush over, like fight over like what Pokemon or what and all. It's just regardless. For even though I just babbled a lot there, the point is that the not only are the requests, which are separate from the missions, which are the main quest stuff. They're like the optional things you can do. They serve a few different purposes. They serve adding some levity to the game, some distractions, which are great. They're some way to get. They're a good way to get some rather rare resources in some regards. They allow you to also build up the town itself. A good number of these requests that you have to do actually affect Jubilife Village, which is the primary village. That was in the trailers. That's not a spoiler for anybody. And you over time get to see, you know, Pokemon and people living together over time, which is kind of the ultimate goal of like what you're trying to get. Like this was the time period of this is before Pokemon and people live together in harmony, and you just kind of see the Pokemon you have brought to people like living in the village and all that, and it's nice and endearing, and it gives you a feeling of growth. You can also upgrade different services and stuff doing these requests as well, and they aren't just like, oh, go bring me, while they are, oh, bring me 3 of these things. Each one actually has like an animated cutscene using in-game assets that, you know, it feels like a much more effort was put in. Also, your character can emote. He has multiple different faces, and he's very expressive. While certainly some expressions may not fit moments exactly, the fact that we're able to emote at all is great, rather than the last time our character was able to emote, we literally just emoted. I think it was in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and our character emoted like twice in the entire game through like 2 separate cutscenes. So it is what it is. I like the fact that all the characters are very expressive. I did not expect bad guys to be who they are, so there's a little bit of subversion there. Who you think it is actually isn't, which is odd. There's a lot of drops and stuff of like everything that's going on. I don't feel too bad stating this, because it's literally the first thing you find out when you boot up the game. If you have a aversion to spoilers, please skip ahead 30 seconds to about 15 minutes and 45 seconds. that's the timestamp you should move ahead to. It's basically an isekai. This isn't really a spoiler because it's, literally the first thing that happens in game after you make your character. You're pulled, you and your phone are pulled into the world, and you're literally, it's literally a fuck. It's like if like the setting of, if like the premise of fucking Inuyasha, of someone getting isekai'd 500 years to the past with their smartphone. It's kind of funny in that regard, but regardless, welcome back everybody who was, just running away from the spoilers. I appreciate you. So regardless, the game, the characters are lovely. Not to speak on who is who. There's a lot of there's some hints there. One of my biggest fucking mistakes is not playing Black or White 2, because I feel like every game has alludes to parts of that, and I'm missing some stuff. Regardless, combat's good, world feels good. The gameplay of the traversing the terrain feels very, very interesting. In the first half of the game, you go through the 5 areas of the game, which are kind of like fields and bogs and cliffs and oceans and tundras and snow-capped mountains and all that, and all of it's great. And you get ride Pokemon, a la Sun and Moon, to basically allow you to traverse. You get basically a Pokemon that goes really fast. It can jump over rocks, or good for early game traversal. You get what is effectively a drivable dowsing machine. You get a Pokemon that'll climb up sheer surfaces for you. And when I get into that with the spoiler discussion, I'm going to go over a little bit of how absurd it is, but it's funny. You get a fish that is coincidentally is the only that you can go on water with, and is actually the only one you can throw things from. So one of as well as a bird that allows you to fly over the entire thing. Side note: you can't throw Pokeballs from 4 out of the 5 different ride Pokemon. Bullshit, I know. But I kind of understand why. It kind of forces you to not be sniping Pokemon in the air, But be nice at least if the ones you're on land with doing it with, you could. Either way, you kind of get used to dismounting and remounting. Dismounting, throwing a Pokemon at a tree to get some berries out of it. Hop back on and go. And speaking of berries, there is an in-depth craft system. Money is actually fairly difficult to come by in this game. Yes, there are like little distortion area of effect events where strong Pokemon spawn and items and powerful items spawn that you can get, like star pieces and cosmic shards and things of that nature. And that's all well and good. But the primary way you're going to be getting your money is completing research tasks. And these research tasks are, the higher your rank, the more money you get paid for them. But until you get to like rank 6, maybe even 7, like the money's kind of mid. And you're kind of strapped for cash. So basically for the majority of the game, you are spending, there's 10 ranks in total. The base game goes through the first 5 ranks is mandatory, and everything after that is kind of just bread. You know what I mean? And you're kind of, searching for apricorns and different rocks and minerals to build Pokeballs and medicinal herbs to build potions and revives and all these great things. And especially over time, like you kind of get used to just picking up everything you see, shoving it in your bottomless, thankfully, item storage, and then crafting everything you need, because you have a wide array of assortment of items at your disposal to catch Pokemon and knock Pokemon out of frenzies and lure Pokemon to where you need them to, because there's functionally 3 types of Pokemon. there are skittish Pokemon. Well, technically 4. There's skittish Pokemon, which will run as soon as I see you. You have medium confidence Pokemon, which will attack you, but you can still catch them if you want. Will attack you if you bother them too much, but you can still catch them and approach them. Then you have hostile Pokemon, which will, if they catch you, it's on sight. And then you have Apom, who just does not give a fuck. He's like all of them are like best friend, and they'll come right up to you and just stand right by you, do little dances, all in the wild, and it's an absolute treat. So it's basically skittish, don't bother me. It's on sight, and Apom. That's it. Let me think. Negatives. No items. Like, no held items, which is unfortunate. There is something resembling a GTS, I guess. I haven't really partaken in it much. You can use... the only online connectivity is really trading with other players and this lost and found system, where if somebody dies like somewhere else, you have a chance that their bag will pop up in your world. If you pick it up, you'll get these things called merit points, which you can take to a vendor and get some pretty powerful items, usually evolution related, even rare candies and things of that nature. What else? The combat, as fun as it is, it's, they removed the depth and just added hard, which I'm not opposed to. The point of the game isn't necessarily battling per se. It's mainly showpieces and traveling and excursions and all these great things. Lot of fun. And if you're like a meta Pokemon player, and you need that depth to enjoy the game, like you need the EV breed, all these different things. I don't even think there's breeding in the game. I might need to double check that, but there's a good chance that there is no breeding in the game. I haven't seen it, and it didn't reveal any options. Also, because they also do actually offer a mass release option, because you're catching so many Pokemon and you have much room in your pastures, which are your boxes. But regardless, it's fine. For those who like things like Poke-Ami and Poke-Camp, the closest you can get to that is throwing all your Pokemon out around you and just speaking to them. That's really about it. On a brighter note, Pokemon have much more realistic proportions, so when you throw a Dialga or a Palkia above you, it strikes a towering figure. Quite terrifying in a way. Any other gripes? No, questing is good, world building is good, gameplay is good, battling is good relatively. I can't really think of anything overtly negative that I had a problem with. It was a solid, minus the time I spent farming points to get to the next rank so I could progress with the story. That's one thing. The story is gated behind having certain ranks, and at a certain around rank 3, you actually have to go dedicatedly look for getting completing the Pokedex a little bit. To actually move on to the next part, which some people might not like that gating mechanic, but given the significant spike in enemy disparity between zones, and the fact that every time you catch a Pokemon or beat a Pokemon, all the Pokemon in your party get experience points, I can't stay mad at it. Also, I could get a Gibble at early in the fucking game, so I can't complain. You can also catch Piplup, Chimchar, and Turtwig, although I know generally where the Turtwigs are. I haven't actually been able to find one yet. I think they were running away or something, because there are a lot of frenzied Pokemon in the area. The Pokedex is approximately 220 something, so it's not super large, which is nice. They really kind of kept that thin, which I'm all for. And the daunting end goal of finding Arceus by completing the Pokedex, which also was leaked. Was not leaked. This was talked about in press releases from Game Freak. This is not a spoiler. So it's not super daunting, but it will be interesting to see what ends up happening. Also, alpha Pokemon. Lastly, the last little thing I want to talk about is alpha Pokemon. Alpha Pokemon are wonderful. They are very, very powerful. When I was in the beginner zone with like Pokemon that range as high as like 10 or 13, like on the absolute highest end, and as low as like 2, one of the alpha Pokemon, a Rapidash that was hanging in the area, was fucking level 40 fucking 4. So these alpha Pokemon, which you can catch and are actually bigger on average compared to other Pokemon. Like if you put a Luxray that's an alpha versus a normal Luxray, the alpha Luxray is going to be a margin of it's going to be bigger by like a factor of 2 or even 3 in some cases. So that is a big thing. If you wanted to spec out a team filled with alphas, that is absolutely on the table for you. The evolution animation is actually pretty cool. Kind of gives me Digimon vibes, which I'm okay with. And if I were to give this Pokemon Legends Arceus a review from a diehard fan that can never be pleased, yes, I am one of those, I would probably give it a YouTube reviewers I'll give it to you on 2 scores. On the IGN mainstream game reviewers scores, which is like, if it's a 5, it's a failure, and like the YouTube reviewers, like the Bellular, Angry Joe Show, that kind of stuff, where a 5 is just a average okay game. Not good, not bad, just average. I would give this game, Pokemon Legends Arceus, I would give Pokemon Legends Arceus an 8 out of 10. I would give it an 8 out of 10. No points. I'm taking the Angry Joe Show approach to it. No points. It feels like a half measure. It's an 8. It is a good fucking game. Or by IGN standards, a 9.5 out of 10. Whatever. So it's a good fucking game. A rock fucking solid game. It is a game that I think every Pokemon game should be taking kind of stuff from. I think the concept of this type of traversal, it should be standard in Pokemon games going forward in some capacity. If we have to have like set towns and things like that, I honestly do think that doing it by putting like them as zones you can travel into via wild, like through wild areas and stuff, I think that might actually be a great thing. This feels like what the wild area in Sword and Shield should have been. Only other gripe I think I might have with the game, now that I'm thinking about it, is too many aggressive Pokemon. Sometimes I just want to just catch a bunch of Pokemon and just chill. You know, there's a lot of Pokemon that get angry. But that aside, 8 out of 10 game. I love it. It's a good game. Go get it. Go buy it. It's fun. And I will actually write a script of some sort, at least some bullet points, going over like the spoiler section, because there's a lot to unpack. Thank you guys for listening. I love your faces, and I can't believe I've been talking for a half hour at this fucking point. Holy shit. I'll probably end up doing a catch-a-thon or something on Twitch. Go check me out at twitch.tv/HIMediaTV. I love your faces, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a lovely rest of your day.